But we're not there yet. We got to get through this next block. All right, so FBI covering up for Jeffrey Epstein, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. They didn't like that, so they went to New York. Justice Department raided the FBI. The New York FBI director got fired, stepped down, however you want to see it. He doesn't work there anymore. And they took a tractor trailer load of boxes, whatever that means. Those have not yet been published to my knowledge. So we're going to get the coverage from Benny Johnson. Kash Patel fires New York's FBI head for hiding Epstein evidence. We'll put that on the record. Then we'll go to Liberal Hive Mind. And it says, based old man connects the dots on Trump's master plan. We'll see if we agree with that dot connecting. We'll compare it to the history blueprint. And then we had Tim Cass, IRS to fire 45,000 IRS staff. That's what we call a good start. Fulfilling promise to shrink the federal government. They hired, 85,000? So getting rid of half of those, yeah, it's a good start, but that's not the whole thing. I think maybe they should just consider abolishing the whole thing before April 15th. Wouldn't that be great if Trump did that? We have the tariffs, right? We don't need income tax and being taxed on stuff and paying tax on your loans, all that nonsense. All right. More to come on that. 45,000. That's a good start. Let's go. Oh, thank you, Paul, for that. Epstein. Here's what the FBI records, the vault. They have a disclaimer. Let's close that. So here's the Epstein files that are official that you too could go and read and peruse and make news, because that's what people do. There's stuff published on the internet, and then the influencers you follow, they just read the news. Whereas here, we try to give credit to the people who read the news and show that in a time capsule. And we're about to do that right now. Going back to Benny Johnson, Kash Patel, FBI fires FBI. Let's check it out. It's kind of like spy versus spy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the entire world was waiting with bated anticipation for the release of the Epstein list. Pam Bondi had teased on this program that the Epstein list, along with all of the files and videos, and names and clients, would all be released imminently. She said that it was burning a hole on her desk at this very moment, and within days, we would have the list. And what did we get? Well, yikes. We got binders handed to influencers.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
How could the FBI behave like this? Of course, this is the absolute evidence of the deep state in existence. They don't care who's elected. They're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to keep secrets from you, me, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. It doesn't really matter. And Kash Patel came in over the top saying he's pissed about all of this. The FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups, missing documents, or stone left unturned. Anybody from the prior or current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued.
Just like Obama did, he fired almost everybody. I can tell you I was on the American Battlefield Monuments Commission, an apolitical. As soon as Obama came in, he fired me. And he fired every Republican on that commission. And I don't blame him. That was what he wanted, people on the same team. But Trump didn't. So he's going to do what most people do, get a team in there. And he's going to get people who don't fit that background of Merrick Garland, Lloyd Austin, Blinken, Sullivan. So he said, to make sure that these people understand what I'm dealing with, I'm going to pick people who have been targeted by these people. Let's see, National Institute of Health, that is the most important of all the organizations. And under Francis Collins, they targeted people. In fact, they targeted Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford. They went after him. I'll make him the head of it. They targeted people. They put surveillance on Kash Patel when he was a congressional. I'm going to make him head of the FBI. Oh, I know. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, wrote a book chronicling all the problems with the revolving door. I'm going to make him the head of the Defense Department. Oh, Director of National Intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard. She was on a terrorist watch list. She will be the head of the Director of National Intelligence. So that's what he did.
This may be some of the best news. The only news that could be better is when they formally announce the layoff of these IRS agents. The IRS is drafting plans to cut as much as half of its 90,000 person workforce, AP sources say. Well, there's the news. When I first heard this, I was watching Fox News. I think it was the 5 or something. And they didn't seem freaked out by this. Like, they weren't excited. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've heard in a very long time. 45,000 IRS agents to be laid off.
Man, yeah. So, well, one of the things from that clip that jumped out to me, and especially the beginning, was the Epstein stuff. So what I see with this kicking the can down the road, this dude that's being blamed for it is just, in my opinion, a fall guy. So this guy, they're saying, okay, they're blaming him. They're like, oh, it's this guy's fault. Let's get him out of there.
Oh, the New York field office guy?
Yeah, the New York field office guy. They're like, okay, it's this guy's fault. Get him out of here.
He is kind of a self-proclaimed like scapegoat. Like, he's like, oh, we're going to stand up to Trump and we're going to do this thing and defy his orders. But like, he's layers down from Comey and all these other people who have participated in the cover-up traditionally, to your point. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, okay, but so in my opinion, the people that seek to be, or who probably will be the most exposed if the Epstein files were to come out completely, right? Okay, let me ask you like this way. The JFK files, the Epstein files, like, is there one entity that's probably going to be the most exposed?
Look, the JFK files and the 9/11 files, definitely
9/11
there would be
files.
a country or two and maybe a North American type of treaty organization that might also be involved that would all not look good in that situation. So they would do everything in their deep state power to keep these things from seeing the light of day. Exactly. And then you've got the people who are blackmailed in this country who would like to continue their bullshit political careers and deceiving their constituents and hope and, you know, pray to whoever they pray to that it's not going to come out.
Exactly. Well, so this guy, he's going to be the fall guy. They whether it's through the blackmail information they have on him or just they said, look, you're going to be the fall guy on this one. And then I would also take it a step further and argue that Benny Johnson knows all this. He's in on it, and his job is to propagandize us into believing that that's the end of the story.
Well, I mean, he was pretty rah-rah when they did it, you know, and then I think he caught wind that the OGs were like, no, this is bullshit. And that in order to kind of save face, he's like, oh, look, you know, but I think, yeah, he was late to the party on that and didn't see it coming himself.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up Jeffrey Epstein here. Let's see what we got. In the Epstein model, you got people, Kenneth Starr's involved in his history because there's a whole bunch of dirty work in that history, especially once you get to Wexner, right? He's one of a couple of these guys that has been named in certain areas of interest, and that ties into the Abercrombie and Fitch male prostitution ring and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, you know, Epstein's like a ligature. He connects a lot of these things together, but he's not the head of anything, and nothing stopped when they whacked him. And in order to be able to whack him in our country with no recourse, it's deep state plus other countries' involvement that can make that happen very easily. And we do have a clip tonight about how the Mossad very much disrespects the CIA and has a history of doing things that would fit right in with that template. I'm not making accusations, of course. I'm just noticing the congruency of puzzle pieces that fit together. And, you know, I'll let you judge for yourself. Paul, what were your thoughts on the IRS, the connecting of the dots with Victor Hansen, and then the New York FBI guy getting scarecrowed?
My first thought was, how could Qatar have done this?
I saw those memes going around. Did you see, you know, how the Chinese make all of our leaders go and worship at their wall? Yeah. So they took a bunch of wailing wall photos and they put the little racist Dr. Seuss Chinaman hat on them all. And they're like, yes, look at our politicians all having to go touch their wall. And I was just like,
deeply ironic, but effective, because then those posts sometimes get community noted.
I just unmemed that meme. I just described a meme in words, which is the opposite of what it's supposed to do. I was like reverse memed it. I don't know. Sorry about that.
Yeah, people will see that one online.
Next time I will have a visual aid to help you with it. But you can picture it.
Well,
If not, I'm going to find it.
that list that I posted to you during the break, those are a big chunk of the Epstein files that are already publicly available. The problem is that they're heavily redacted. So it's like, what good is a bunch of semi-empty pages or like paragraphs that are just like broken sentences with all the details redacted?
Why are all our leaders forced to go touch the Great Wall of China? Almost like China owns us and a nepotistic clique runs our institutions, subverting our nation.
Why are they wearing Amanita Muscaria hats? That's weird.
That's another episode right there. But, people are getting clever. And X, thanks for, when I searched for that, you showed it to me. China Wall, U.S. leaders. It didn't take long. So, just like when I ran the Grok report and it's like, here's how X shadow bans you.
Yeah.
It'll tell on itself, unlike some of the other AIs. Yeah, I like it so far. So good. All right. I'm not endorsing technocracy. I'm just saying, like in that case, the search function worked. I'm easily impressed sometimes.
All of the technologies are double-sided coins, so we might as well use it for our benefit while they're using it to try and imprison
If we're not using it for our benefit, it's probably being used for our detriment. This was another thing that I could agree with. Perhaps the greatest mistake made in American history was allowing government to educate our children. I would just change that word from educate to school. School. Indoctrinate our children. That's part of the problem. And, when Elon Musk retweets stuff like that, it gives you hope. But again, not that he's not a technocrat, but just that millions of people can see that idea that we've been struggling to tell people for 20 plus years. It's like, we have an indoctrination problem and we need to fix it.
Everyone's doing some kind of self-help these days, and you can find a million self-help courses out there. Most other courses out there are hosting lectures. They're hosting videos, they're maybe even doing Q&As, and these are great starting points to encourage learning. But at Autonomy, we believe that hands-on practice is the best way to really lock in what we're learning. There's no better way to gain confidence and mastery than through action. After each lecture, we practice the concepts we've learned with other students, giving and receiving feedback in a non-judgmental environment. The result is mastery of concepts like entrepreneurship, ethical sales, and self-reliance in an environment that directly translates to the real world. Plus, you make connections with other like-minded individuals who are learning right alongside you, and you have a lifetime membership in the community. The Autonomy course with Richard Grove equips you with confidence, competence, and courage in a world filled with confusion and noise. You can learn more at getautonomy.info. We'll see you there.
What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, And this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions and we can get into the show and we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Come on, man. No.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man. Come on.